Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Flock's Nest Sports Podcast. As always, I am one of your hosts, Dallas Reppin 52 of the Baltimore Ravens, Ray Lewis.
As always, on the other half, Brendan. Repping 54, Bobby Wagner of the Seattle Seahawks.
We got a great episode for you guys today. We also got a couple changes that we're going to make to our lineup and kind of setup moving forward that we want to talk to you guys about. So, rather than have maybe one piece of news about basketball or hockey going forward, we're going to dedicate real time the first week of every month to basketball and the second week of the month to hockey. We'll talk about kind of how games are going, how teams are doing, some of the things we've watched, any news. That way, we actually bring real content to it. We're not just occasionally when things come up.
Yep.
So we are going to do that moving forward. So next week, we'll be talking basketball.
Correct.
This week, so what that means is without those two things, we're just going to jump right into football, which is always really exciting. Last week, there were some topics Brennan and I know we both wanted to get into, and unfortunately, time crunch, we didn't get to. So this week, plenty of time to get into those and get into some of the games of the week this week. Yep. So we're going to jump right in, starting with, of course, college football.
Perfect. I watched a couple games this week. We'll start with the worst game I watched this week, just because it was a slaughtering. I watched Notre Dame Syracuse. That game ended 70-7. Syracuse scored a touchdown with like 4 seconds left in the game. So, yeah, it was a slaughtering. For reference, Notre Dame scored 3 touchdowns without having the ball on offense to start the game. So this kind of gives you an idea of how bad the game was for Syracuse and how good the game was for Notre Dame. So we're not going to spend a ton of time on that. It was an ass beating. It is what it is. Another game I watched was USC Oregon. I kind of expected this to be a slightly better game than it was. Oregon got the win 42-27. I expected USC to put up a little more of a fight. Obviously, they were on the road at Oregon. Never an easy thing to do. Oregon does have a really good home record and a really good home crowd. So it wasn't something I expected USC to really overcome. I just thought USC would be more in the game than they were. But Oregon continues to prove why they're one of the best teams in college football. They're 10-1. Their only loss was to Indiana, who Indiana is a really good football team. So, I'm not really sure what you can say on that in terms of how bad that loss is going to look. I think that's why Oregon's still ranked as high as they are. I just think they're a really good football team. USC, I thought this was their chance to kind of prove they should be in the conversation for college football playoffs, but they lost. They've now lost 3 games, 2 of which to top 10 opponents. Yeah. When you're losing games like that, it's tough to say that you deserve a chance. So I think USC is kind of out of it, especially with only 1 week left in the season. So really unfortunate. But in terms of a game, I just thought it would be closer, but Oregon kind of just proved that they're better and that they have a real shot this year at making some noise. And then the last game I watched was Missouri-Oklahoma. Another one. Oklahoma's 9-2. I think they've been playing really good. They won 17-6. This was much more of a defensive battle. Really good game. Was close for the majority of it. I think Missouri's defense was keeping them in it for the vast majority of the game. Missouri's offense just could never really get going in this game. It was a real struggle. Again, this was a game that Missouri had to win for them to have a shot at the playoffs. They lost. I think that pretty much takes them out of playoff contention at this point. With 7-4, I just don't think it's going to be good enough. And with only 1 week left, I don't think there's anything you can do there. And then I think this win kind of helped secure Oklahoma a decent shot, like a pretty high chance that they make it. Obviously, with 1 week left, some stuff can change, but not a lot at this point. it'll just kind of depend on um, who wins and who loses certain games at this point.
100%. I watched 3 games. I say watch. They weren't on very long. I watched Alabama versus Eastern Illinois. Alabama got the win 56-0. Yes, I expected the win. Yes, I expected a mollywhopping. Did I expect this? Not so much. Alabama has been inconsistent offensively and defensively. So I thought a shutout was kind of unlikely, even against Eastern Illinois. Um, was not a good game, right? It's boring. I don't think it was a great indication of what Alabama
Anything?
would do in the playoffs. They are 9-2. I think they have a good chance to make the playoffs. I do think this Saturday, the Iron Bowl, Alabama versus Auburn, obviously is going to be a big game. It's going to be important. But just wasn't exciting. I don't think this game tells you anything about who Alabama is or what they're capable of. Unfortunately, it was just a completely outmatched opponent.
Yeah.
Other game I watched was Texas versus Arkansas. Texas got the win 52-37. This was more about continuing to kind of look at Arch Manning, as I did that the week before. I wanted to see if I kind of saw any improvement this week, especially with the shoulder injury he's been dealing with. I think this, while not a great team, right, to be going against, was one of his best performances. I think you're seeing kind of the best version of him. You're seeing that shoulder not affect him as much. You're seeing really what he can do as a quarterback. And I think that was the most important part. You can only play the team in front of you. And one of the most important things you have to do as a quarterback and as a team is beat the teams that you're supposed to beat. And this was kind of one of those moments. And I thought he played well. I thought he played within the offense well. Never really put the ball in danger. Good decision making. And I think that shoulder is bothering him less and less. So that was a good game. And it was competitive. I know the final score doesn't make it sound like it, but it was a competitive game. And then final game I watched was Tennessee and Florida, as Florida recently fired a head coach. And I've been kind of watching Tennessee on and off this year. I wanted to see. Find it interesting. In the NFL, a lot of times when you fire a head coach, a team kind of rallies. It's normal for them to get the win the following week. That does not seem to be the case with college football. Tennessee got the win 31-11. I doubt Tennessee makes the playoffs this year. I believe they are.
It would take. Yeah, I don't think they can. I mean, they
I don't
could,
think they
I
can.
guess, but
Um,
it would take some
I don't
weird
know
things to happen.
their record, which is annoying. I
They're
thought I had it.
8-3. The
There
only
you go.
issue
8-3.
is I don't think they'd be able to play for the SEC championship, and I think that would be the way they would make it.
Yeah. But I think I see a lot of fight in this team, and for a team that lost its quarterback
That
really
whole ordeal.
kind of late in the offseason, I think they've rallied. I think they've played well. They've been fun to watch, and probably a team I will continue to keep an eye on. I think it's clearly a well-run organization, and I think with college, that matters a lot, and it shows you kind of their potential. So while they didn't quite get it done this year, I think there's a lot of potential there, and that's been fun to watch this year.
Yeah.
But a decent game. They get the win. Florida did not have anything in them offensively
Pretty
or
much.
defensively. It was pretty much just a train wreck. Um, and you see why they fired a coach. Honestly, it was very clear.
Yeah.
It was very,
It's
very understandable. Um, I know some of the players and some of the reputation that's come out of Florida, even though I haven't followed college football that well. Um, I don't imagine losing 34 to 11 or 31 to 11. It's just on that team's to-do list. So
not really.
I get it. Um, but it was a fun game. It's been a fun season to get into the sport and to learn more about it and to see it. So
Yeah.
it was a good week. Good week of football. Excited for next week. With the playoffs coming, see kind
Rivalry
of those
week.
last couple of teams, yeah, that are fighting to get in. Get to watch kind of your big rivalries, your big names
Yeah.
in college football
That's
go at it. That's always fun.
week 14.
Rivalries always make sports better.
Week 14 is
Always.
always rivalry week in college football, and it's probably my favorite week of college football. It's always really fun. You always get like Ohio State, Michigan, Texas A&M, Texas. Um, the big ones that are always fun and always have that like mild hatred. So
Yeah. That
should be a
just
fun week of college football this
extra
upcoming week.
little spark. So yeah, should be good. I'm excited and I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed watching it this season.
Nice. Well, we do have a couple of housekeeping things within college football. We had two head coach positions filled this week. Obviously, we talked about Oklahoma State firing their head coach earlier in the season. They were, I want to say, one of the first this season to pull the trigger and fire their head coach. And they filled the role with North Texas coach Eric Morris. He's going to take over. He's going to finish coaching the rest of the year with North Texas, and then come over in the offseason to coach Oklahoma State. Honestly, don't know a lot about the guy. Haven't watched North Texas football this year, but we'll see how this hire ends up. I know North Texas has been pretty good this year in terms of like I think they're going to be playing in the playoffs um, in the CFP, so that'll be cool. Um, they're in their American Conference title game, so based on that, he seems like a decent head coach. But I just don't know a whole ton about the guy. And then the other one was Colorado State has hired their next head coach, and it's UConn's Jim Mora. If that name sounds familiar to Seahawks fans, it's because he used to coach the Seahawks. Wasn't very good when he was with the Seahawks, but he has significantly improved his coaching in college football. UConn has been a pretty decent program for their standards the past couple seasons. This year, they've actually looked pretty decent, so I do expect this to be a decent move for Colorado State.
Nice.
So, just a couple coaching hires in college football. I assume those will just keep coming as the weeks move on, as we get through the end of the season. I think the big one we're about to find out is what Lane Kiffin's going to do. I think he's going to announce that at the end of rivalry week. I expect him to stay with Ole Miss, but it seems like there's conversations. I know a lot of teams are going to at least make an offer.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But he's
Would
currently
be shocked if they didn't.
Yeah. But he's currently, I think, the big fish in the pond that everybody wants. So we'll see what happens there. But it's kind of it for college football. Obviously, really looking forward to rivalry week. Love it. It's kind of just the best week of college football. So we'll see what we get.
Should be fun. Should be fun. All right. Well, if that does it for college football, we will kick it to the NBA. Nope, we won't.
Wrong
We
one.
will kick it to the NFL. And as always, we will start with breaking news, as there has been plenty.
Yes, we always start with injuries, so we'll just keep that theme rolling. We talked about Michael Penix possibly having season-ending knee injury. It has been confirmed since we last talked that it is a partial torn ACL. He will be done for the season. Really unfortunate, but also a guy that has had several season-ending injuries at this point in his career, not just in the NFL, but in college. So hopefully he can come back from this one. But at this point in time, you're starting to be fearful that this is just kind of gonna be a thing with him. Another one, the Lions have confirmed that Sam Laporta underwent a back procedure and is unlikely to return for the season. No idea what the procedure was, but if it's a back related thing, I doubt he plays again this season. Back issues tend to be more cautious with. They're very easy to re-injure, so I would not expect him to be back. Continuing, left tackle Will Campbell, the outstanding rookie for the New England Patriots, has suffered an MCL sprain. He's probably going to go on injured reserve. Not really sure how long he's going to be out, but really unfortunate. Was playing really good football as a rookie for the Patriots and was a huge reason for kind of that Patriots offense success right now. So really unfortunate there. Never really want to see a rookie get hurt, especially because the rookie next to him at left guard for the Patriots suffered a high ankle sprain in the same game. He's another one, most likely out 4 to 6 weeks. High ankles kind of just depend on the person, on the player, on the position. But really unfortunate that the left side of the Patriots offensive line, who are both rookies and have both been playing pretty well, both suffer pretty significant injuries at this point in the season. Just really unfortunate there for the Patriots. And
They've
then,
been really, really good this year, and it's unfortunate that they're now having a lot of injuries to that O line,
yeah,
especially with a young quarterback.
yep. And that was the last injury we had to talk about. So lighter on the injury news this week, thankfully. Like to hear
Thankfully,
that. A lot of contracts were announced this week. Two by the Broncos, so we'll start there. They announced they have extended kicker Will Lutz through 2028. It's a 3-year deal. I have not seen compensation yet. I don't know if he will until the offseason. Sometimes these in-season moves, they just kind of get it done and move on.
yeah.
And then the Broncos also re-signed their center, Luke Wattenberg, to a 4-year, $48 million extension. That offensive line in Denver has been playing really good football. And the center is always the kind of center of that.
Yeah.
He's just the guy that brings it all together on the offensive line. So if you have a good one, you always want to keep him around, make sure they're locked in, because they really do just bring the offensive line together, just because they are the center of it. And then the Broncos made another extension, bringing back defensive tackle Malcolm Roach on a 3-year extension up to $29.25 million. Again, this defensive line has been probably the best in football this year. He is a huge part of that. Getting him extended is great for the Broncos. So they were getting a lot of contracts done, which you don't see that often during the season. So that tells you players want to stay and want contracts.
Yeah.
And then the last contract was the Los Angeles Rams have signed Nate Landman, their linebacker, to a 3-year, $22.5 million extension. He's been playing very well for them. That defense has been playing better than expected. I think this is a pretty decent move for them. as much as I hate to say that as a Seahawks fan.
Yeah.
And then probably the last bit of contract news is the Bills signed wide receiver Brandon Cooks, who was just released by the New Orleans Saints. So, not really sure that's going to be the answer to their wide receiver problems, but they did it. So, who's to say?
They're going to try. They're going to try.
Yep. And then we had somebody come out of retirement. Kind of been a weird thing this year. A couple people have done it.
Yeah.
It is center Frank Ragnow has come out of retirement to come back to the Lions. Unfortunately, the Lions are dealing with some injury issues up front on their offensive line. I think Frank Ragnow has been fantastic for them in the past. So him coming back out of retirement kind of made sense with just how many injuries they've had in that offensive line group. Hopefully he can come back and kind of solidify it just a little bit. We'll see. Sometimes players coming back from retirement does not go well.
Yeah. Sometimes
Sometimes
quite not in the shape they need to be in.
Yeah.
And being away from working out, and guys, it can be hard to mesh, to meld, to remember everything. It can be a struggle. Hopefully it goes well for him and for the Lions.
Yep. We had 2 firings that happened, both coordinators. The first one we'll talk about is the New York Giants have fired defensive coordinator Shane Bowen. No real surprise here. I thought this was going to happen before the Brian Daboll firing. I thought this would be the Giants' way of kind of keeping Daboll, but making a firing.
I thought it would be kind of Daboll's ditch effort to be like, I see that there's a problem.
But it seems like he did not have the opportunity to make that move. So it's happening now. This comes as no real surprise. Their defense has not been great this year.
And when you were beating the Lions really well and putting up a great performance and probably one of Jameis Winston's best,
we'll talk about that.
And then gave that up.
We'll talk about that.
It's rough.
Someone posted it. They've been leading in the fourth quarter of so many games, and they've lost them all. So it's like they showed a list, and it's crazy. Like the game against the Broncos, that was the crazy comeback. They've had one against the Bears. Now it's the Lions. They've been leading a lot of games going into the fourth quarter. Have blown those leads mostly due to the defense. So this was not a surprising move at all.
No.
And then another pretty not surprising move was Chip Kelly was fired by the Raiders. He was the highest paid coordinator. He signed the deal this year to become the highest paid coordinator in the NFL, and now he's fired in his first season.
$6 million for 11 games and a losing record.
Yeah.
I don't know where you apply for that job, but I'm available.
Yeah, I probably could have done better.
I'm gonna be honest with you, probably.
Mainly because I realized that you have Stone Forsythe at left tackle, and you probably shouldn't leave him on an island against Myles Garrett. Probably not a good idea.
Probably not.
Just a suggestion. Just a suggestion.
Just seems, it's somebody's fault.
I get it. You were kind of forced to play Stone Forsythe with injuries, but, there are ways to mitigate that situation.
Yeah.
And you didn't. And Myles Garrett...
do any of them.
Myles Garrett is the defensive player of the year. Let's just be honest.
100%. 100%.
So, we're just going to let that happen. Sounds good.
Yeah.
So, not great there.
It was rough.
So,
no one was shocked.
No one's shocked that he was fired. We do have couple more things. First of which is safety Trayvon Merrick has been suspended 1 game for an act of unsportsmanlike conduct following Monday night's game. The act was punching Juwan Jennings in the nether region.
Can someone explain to me the fuck is going on in football this year? We've had people spitting on each other, someone accusing someone of spitting, we're punching people in the nuts. What's happening?
Like,
Like,
one,
what's going on right now?
watching it, we didn't see it happen until after the fact.
Mm-mm,
So all you
mm-mm.
see is Jawan Jennings lose his fucking mind.
Yeah.
And then you see what happened, and you're like, oh, okay,
Okay.
that is a
And
valid reaction.
when Shanahan was asked about that was a great when Shanahan was asked about it, how do you feel about Jawan Jennings' behavior? Well, he was punched where he was punched, so I'm pretty impressed for him keeping his cool.
Like,
And
not killing the guy. Yeah.
so I just
And also,
what the fuck?
I feel like one game isn't enough. Just
No. No.
as a guy, I feel like if you punch somebody there, it needs to be
Well,
significantly more than a game.
and this is a male contact sport. Right? If you're gonna get mad and punch somebody, at least hit him in the face.
Yeah.
Like that's a low blow. Like come on,
Like, at least,
come on.
like, punching somebody in the face one game, fine. Punching in there,
Fine.
it's gotta be more.
That's
It's gotta be.
that's way below the belt, and should be punished appropriately. It's crazy. I'm so confused about what the fuck's happening in the
Yeah.
NFL right now. I'm so confused.
And then the absolute last bit of news. Again, to no one's real surprise, Shador Sanders has been confirmed to be starting week 13.
Yep. We're gonna talk more
We'll
about
talk
that
about
game
it.
later, as that was my game of the week.
Yep.
But
To no one's real
I'm not
surprise.
surprised, even just despite how that game could have gone, could not have gone, whatever. The Browns have
To
questions at
make a
quarterback.
decision.
And so you played Dylan Gabriel some games.
He
Now
got
you give
hurt.
Shador some games.
You kind of had your
It's a
chance to
good
give
way.
Shador.
Yeah. To see really what you have, especially because you will probably still have a top 10 draft pick this year. So gives them a good chance to see what they have either at quarterback or at trade value.
Yes.
And let other teams see it. So do they need a quarterback? Can they move up? Can they work with what they have? Just a couple of options there. So I think regardless of how this game went, that was probably what was going to happen.
Unless it was so
and then,
unbelievably bad that
yeah.
you had no choice.
But I know who the Browns have had at quarterbacks in the past, so true.
It would take.
So yeah, we'll talk about the game itself and how Shador played a little later, but I'm not shocked that was the decision made regardless.
Yes. As I said, that is the last bit of news, so that kind of does it for breaking news.
Nice. Alrighty. Well, we are going to jump right in then to the Ravens. I know I haven't been doing the preview videos this year, and I do apologize, y'all. I really have tried. No, that doesn't mean a whole ton, but I have. It's just not working out this year. With them playing so early this week, I'm just going to do a little preview on them because we kind of have the time. Won't do a full in-depth 20-minute thing, but we will talk about their upcoming game as well today. Probably when we do our look ahead, but just to give y'all kind of an idea where this is going. So Ravens versus Jets. I have so many notes, which is kind of crazy. The Ravens get the win 23-10. Offense, as always, where we will start, was terrible. Just terrible. But also better, which was weird. This was one of Falele's best games. Which means either he's improving or the Jets are trash. So you do with that what you will. But it was one of his better games. Emory Jones, who I have been waiting for, because what do you mean my left guard is just standing there? Was active, but he did not take a snap. Falele played the entire game. Can't help but wonder if this was kind of the kick Falele needed. Of your job is on the line. Your job is to protect the quarterback. Is to help open run lanes. If you can't do that, someone else will. Figure it the fuck out. We saw him actually take an active interest on what was happening on the field. If he did not have someone immediately in front of him to block, he went and found somebody. Thank you. Thank you. The thing you need to handle might not always be right in front of you. Please do not let my quarterback get sacked 5+ times. It's excessive. It's unnecessary. He can only escape so much. So one of his best games, but still the Jets are not good. So again, do with that what you will. Seeing the mentality change, that was improvement. That is what I liked. He got after it. He found a job. Lamar was only sacked once, which was a great improvement, regardless of who they're playing. He has been sacked more times this season than he was all of last year. And it is only week 12. So, definitely an improvement. First half, though, just a train wreck. 0 for 5 on third down, only 74 yards offense, only put up a field goal. They remained 28th in the league in the red zone. That was apparent. They were only 2 for 11 overall on third down for the entire game. Offensive struggles continue to be prominent. Lamar just doesn't seem to trust what's going on. We saw the one run he made, probably could have been a touchdown, but he curved it more, running more laterally than forward. He has been dealing with a lot of injuries in his lower body. I think trusting the O-line is still a factor. And we saw multiple drops by ball catchers. Mark Andrews dropped a touchdown in the end zone, likely dropped what would have been a third down conversion pass. It's just been kind of a rough go. The offense is not clicking right now. Obviously, they came out. Nope, let's back it up. The Ravens are rarely, even when they're losing and they have a losing record, are rarely booed at home. They were booed going into halftime, and Lamar took a knee. Not seeing them attempt to go down the field, I think, was rough. So we're seeing kind of the fan base's reaction to a stagnant offense. Coming out of the second half, had one of their best drives of the game, 74 yards, 9 minutes, capped off with a Derrick Henry touchdown. We saw Zay Flowers get involved, have a lot of great playmaking. Devontae Welker had a great catch. We're seeing it. We're seeing moments. What I appreciated was we saw adjustments made. We didn't just go out there and keep trying to do the same thing we've been doing. Patrick Ricard, I think, was kind of the hero of that opening drive. He had a bull rush tackle to open a lane for Derrick Henry. So seeing him added to that O-line occasionally has been great since he's been back from injury. But we have to see it continue, especially next week. And we're going to talk about that next week. That offensively, this will not cut it. Offensive player of the game, I'm going to go Henry. He had both touchdowns. Still, the 100-yard games have been kind of hit or miss, but this was a great performance. He kept going out there and giving it his all. Keeps his feet moving. Having both touchdowns was great. Again, Mark Andrews had a drop pass, but doing what they can with what they've got, apparently. Defensively, still seeing a lot of improvement. The fact that they went into this game with no current film on Tyrod Taylor and hold them to 10 points was impressive. The Jets, despite being 3-8, have been in every game. They have not lost by a ton of points. This is their largest point differential, and it's tied with the one they played against the Patriots. So they have been able to produce on offense, and the Ravens were able to kind of stifle that. And with a quarterback they didn't have a ton of film on. So I do think that was impressive. Missed tackles were kind of an issue. Had multiple missed tackles on Breece Hall, which had the potential to make this a lot worse than it was, and had the potential to make this a lot closer than it was. But in kind of Ravens fashion, they continued to show up in the biggest moments. 3 sacks and 2 turnovers. We are back to re-emphasizing the pass rush and are staying consistent with taking the ball away, something they've done really well since the bye week, and we're continuing to see that. Travis Jones, a trade deadline acquisition, had his first sack of the game, so that was really great to see. Always great to see those trade guys make plays and be relevant. TJ Tampa had his first career interception. It pretty much ended the game. It gave the ball back to the Ravens, who were just able to kneel on it. So that was really great. Player of the game is going to Marlon Humphrey, who I understand that people want to be hard on. And I can sometimes be critical of the things he says and does and his timing and his injuries. But with all of that being said, he is a great corner. And he continues to show that and to show up and show out every week. He had surgery on that finger we talked about last week. And then he went out there and played a full game. And he even stuck that hand up into the arm of Breece Hall and ripped the ball out on a drive that was at minimum worth 3 points. This was a big-time play in a big-time moment. The Ravens needed it. I actually called it right before it happened. I was like, come on, boys. We need to get a turnover. We need it right now. Do not let them score here. And then Humphrey came through in that moment. If I could have bet that play, I mean, I probably could have. I don't, though. I wouldn't have, and it would have been worth a lot of money. So I need to start trying. But it was a great moment. It was a great play by him. As critical as everyone wants to be, he constantly shows up and shows out. And this was proof of that. They didn't give up on it. He didn't give up on it. And he made sure to get that ball out. And it was great. Definitely great to see the effort being put in. You can't play above the opponent you have. I know these teams are not great. But to see the defense putting in the effort, re-emphasizing some of these basics, some of these Ravens trademarks are good to see. No team's just going to roll over and give it to you. This is the NFL. Special teams. Loop was perfect on the day with 3 field goals. And Jordan Stout, who's having a great year, had a career-long and franchise record tying 64-yard long punt. Great to see. I think special teams is operating really well. I know we had the muffed punt the week before. You can blame the wind. I blame your eyes. Just get out the fucking way. But they are operating at a really good level. Obviously, Loop being a rookie, excited to see him continue to make progress, continue to see kind of that consistency show up. I think we're still working on distance, but when we've needed him, he's been there. If you watch that game, there were a couple of moments that were terrifying. For one, Kyle Hamilton limped off the field twice, didn't come back the second time. He did have an ankle injury that he was dealing with. He was a full participant in practice today without an injury designation, so that's great to see. He is good to go. Same with Travis Jones. Left the game with, I also believe, an ankle injury, and sat out practice Monday and Tuesday, but was a full participant without an injury designation today. So, cleared, good to go for practice. And if you watch and bird dog the injury report the way I do, and Ravens practices the way I do, you know that Lamar Jackson also sat out with a different injury. It's just getting lower, which is weird. I think we're out of options, though. I don't think you can get any lower now. For his toe, which he said popped up in the first quarter, but he was also a full participant on Wednesday without an injury designation. Only people not cleared to play and were not full participants. Taven Bryan and Justice Hill, who is still dealing with a neck injury. I'm going to be honest, Brennan made a face. I don't really know the name Taven Bryan either, so not concerned about it. Justice Hill, Keaton Mitchell, and Rashid Ali have done a good job of kind of splitting his reps and moving the ball, so good there. Ronnie Stanley was out/limited in practice all week. I think he is still kind of nursing that ankle. Not one I'm concerned about having practice, but I do believe he will be good to go for Thursday. But just a couple of scary moments when Hamilton goes down and lays there for a minute. Your heart kind of comes out your ass because you don't think your defense can handle that.
They probably can't.
So I just would rather they didn't. But everyone, we've avoided major injury, long-term injuries.
Nice.
It was a good win. It marks 5th in a row. They do now lead their division. I want to be very clear about this. By definition, they are tied. Everyone keeps saying they're tied with the Steelers for first. They are. The Ravens have the tiebreakers.
Yes.
So they are first. They have the same record, but the Ravens have the tiebreakers, which do put them in first for the division. So to go from 1-5 to 6-5 and overtake the Steelers, and it's only week 12, is fantastic. It's a credit to what this team can do, the fact that it can rally. It's also a testament to a bad Steelers team, which, as a Ravens fan, we're always grateful for. So, to overtake them without having to play them yet is crazy.
You haven't played them yet this season. I just realized that.
Nope.
That's a fun realization.
So, what it means is we don't have to sweep them. We could split with the Steelers and still win the division. I would prefer a sweep, but it is not mathematically currently necessary. It was a good week. We're seeing improvement. Struggles on the offense do continue to occur. I'm kind of hoping Thursday night, and we're going to talk about that more a little later, it is going to be the spark. I think it'll be kind of what they need, which can go really well or really badly. But it was a good win. They needed it. 5 in a row. This team is rolling. Team is continuing to show they shouldn't be written off. With that note, no, go ahead.
It's impressive that they've already come back pretty much. Obviously, it is a sign your division is not great.
It's not good. It's not great.
But sometimes you gotta beat the teams in front of you, and if the division isn't great, you got to take advantage of it. So
yeah, and that's kind of it's been an interesting narrative this week. Which is the Ravens have always been kind of the team and the team to beat and the team that's in it. And then they get to the playoffs and they kind of putter out. So is being this team the one playing from behind, fighting for a spot? Is this the different mentality they've needed? I don't know what it will look like in the playoffs, and I'm not even remotely ready to say what I think they could or would do in that. But to see a team have to rally and have to know they need every win, know they need every moment, and to take advantage of it has been impressive.
Yeah.
So
just
there has been. Yeah. There was one thing I wanted to discuss when talking to the Ravens last week, and I didn't get a chance to, so we're just going to talk about that now. Lamar Jackson is apparently overrated, and I understand that there have been struggles right now, but we're just going to do a little cleanup news. 2 weeks ago, he had his 100th game. So let's just see where he ranks all time for his first 100 games. Okay, let's just talk about it. Most wins by a quarterback in their first 100 games. He is 4th all time. 4th. Passing record. Passing yards in his first 100 games. He's 5th. Passer rating in his first 100 games. Highest of all time. Scoring points in his first 100 games. Highest of all time. Rushing yards from a quarterback. Highest of all time. Interception ratio. 0.5. Lowest of all time. So, the 2-time MVP, guaranteed Hall of Famer, while does not have a Super Bowl yet, and that is distressing, is not overrated. He's talented, he is capable, and he deserves the awards and accolades he has gotten. What he does not deserve is the disrespect.
I was like, all time? No. This year, maybe a little bit.
I understand this year being critical. I can understand being critical. I can.
Like, it's not been a great
year. We're not
year,
critical.
But
we've been disrespectful. He actually still has one of the highest passer ratings so far this year. And he has one of the lowest interception ratios. Now, that does take into account he missed several games. But he had, up until this past week, the most passing touchdowns by a quarterback. But and that was with missing multiple games.
When you compare it to the Lamar Jackson,
when you compare it to other ones, and again, you can be critical. I'm okay with critical.
Yeah, this is a little disrespectful.
Critical is not disrespectful. That's what this has been. That's what this is. Overrated is disrespectful. I didn't tolerate overrated when we said it about Josh Allen. It's disrespectful. Josh Allen is a talented quarterback. Well, I have my criticisms.
And he's also having a down season.
Yes, he is. And
we'll talk about it more later.
Pop back up.
Talk about more about it later.
I don't like Mahomes. Right?
He's definitely not overrated.
Let's not be disrespectful. I know that Lamar doesn't have a Super Bowl. A lot of quarterbacks in the NFL don't have a Super Bowl. Actually, right now, there are only 3. There are only 3 starting quarterbacks in the NFL Super Bowl. So, maybe we shut up. Joe Flacco is... Well, he won't be starting Thursday, but he was.
I'm like, in the NFL currently, it's actually 4. Because I forgot about Rodgers.
If you count Flacco. 4.
Yeah. And I think it's 5 if you count who's not starting. Like, who started the Super Bowl, I think it's 5.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because you have Wilson, who's a backup.
Mm-hmm. So we don't have to like Lamar. He doesn't have to be your favorite, and he does not. And the Ravens don't have to be your favorite team. That's fine.
We also forgot Jalen
And
Hurts in that whole.
oh my god, that tells you everything you need to know about Jalen Hurts as a quarterback.
Just clocked. We forgot the most recent one.
Yep. Tells you everything you need to know. But this was too far. This was unnecessary, and this was disrespectful. And I keep thinking we're gonna move past this point in his career. Obviously, we haven't. So, just a little cleanup news for his first 100 games. It was a big milestone. We just unfortunately didn't get the chance to talk about it. What he's done is very impressive. And if he walked out of the league tomorrow, he is a guaranteed first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
So, let's just keep that in mind. I understand that other quarterbacks won a Super Bowl by the time they had their second MVP. I would love Lamar Jackson to win a Super Bowl. Does not take away from what he's done. Dan Marino was a great quarterback. Not having a Super Bowl did not take away from what he did. Let's just keep that in mind.
That's fair. Yeah.
So, with all of that being said, we will move on to the Seahawks.
Yeah.
And their game.
Yeah. I have significantly less to talk about the game, mainly because I just think this game was kind of blah. Like, they played the Titans.
Yeah.
They are the worst team in football. It is what it is. The Seahawks win 30-24. The score is closer than it should have been, and really, it doesn't show kind of how much better the Seahawks were in this game. Two of the Titans' touchdowns came in the last 3 minutes of the game. Don't get me wrong, I would prefer to not give up touchdowns in the last 3 minutes of the game and make it close. But it is what it is. Offensively, the offense felt really weird today, or really weird on Sunday. It was very hit or miss. And what I mean by that is it felt like it was either clicking on all cylinders or they were just a step off, if you know what I mean. I don't know if it was just because you come off of a really big game against the Rams, you get all of that energy, you lose that, it's a tough loss. You then travel to Tennessee to play the worst team in football. If there's just that lack of motivation there, I think motivation is the wrong word, but you get what I mean. If you're it's the worst team in football, how much do we actually need to show up? I think that was part of it, which is really unfortunate. I kind of thought this team would be immune to that, just because of how they're set up, but I guess no team is truly immune to being the better team and knowing you're the better team and going to play the worst team and just having that in the back of your mind that we really don't need to show up. So, yeah, it's unfortunate there. I thought Darnold, though, had a clean game. Didn't really see problems there. There are still things to clean up. I thought he had one that should have been intercepted and wasn't, and one that was a little closer than I would have liked. That's just kind of the nature of who Sam Darnold is, though, at this point, I think. He's going to try to do things, and sometimes it's not going to go well. It just is what it is. So I'm glad he at least got a clean game, especially with how the Rams game went. Having a clean game was definitely high on the priority list for this one. I guess running the ball wasn't too bad this week. I thought K9 had his best game of the season. Didn't find the end zone because the Seahawks still just kind of refused to give him the football once they get to the red zone. It's a thing. It just is what it is. Charbonnet had a touchdown on the ground. I thought he played pretty well too. But K9 definitely just felt like this game, you could kind of feel like the Seahawks are starting to make him the lead back again. And I kind of think there's been an injury lingering somewhere that's kind of been keeping it 50-50. I know that he was listed on the injury report with a glute prior to the game. Not really sure how much that affected him. Didn't look like it affected him any. So I don't know if we're going to see more split or if we're going to get into him really being the lead. I'm not sure yet. But I did feel like this was his best game of the season in terms of he just looked explosive running the football again. He had some catches out of the backfield that looked really good. Just thought he had his best game. The kind of disappointing thing from this game, I thought this was going to be the game where you really saw Rashid Shaheed in this offense. I kind of thought, the first couple games with him, I kind of thought it would be slow. Obviously, I think he knows the system. I think I underestimated how much not having the connection with your quarterback really affects a wide receiver sometimes. Even knowing the system, I thought it would bridge the gap a little bit. It really hasn't. I think you can see that him and Darnold just aren't necessarily on that same page. You would expect, obviously, you look at Darnold and JSN, and that connection is just unreal. I was never expecting that, but I was expecting at least him and Cooper Kupp level. But I think it's going to take a little more time. It's unfortunate. But I just think it is kind of the price you pay for bringing in a receiver midway through the year. It takes time to build that connection. I don't doubt that at some point that connection will be built. I just think it's going to take longer than I would have hoped. Now, I will say, having Rashid Shaheed has opened up other parts of the offense, though, so it's not like it was a bad decision. Teams now have to respect the fact that Rashid Shaheed is on the field. So, once he builds that chemistry and gets that connection with Darnold, I'm really excited because I've seen really good things. Obviously, I thought he had a decent game against the Rams. Almost had a touchdown. It was a great defensive play. But I thought we kind of were seeing improvement. And then in this game, he did not catch a pass, which kind of made me a little nervous there. But also, JSN was playing unreal. And when you have a receiver of that level, it's hard to not give him the football. Then we'll talk about the offensive line. Gray Zabel played this game, which was super surprising considering he went down with that injury at the end of the Rams game. And I thought that injury was going to be season-ending. Just the way he reacted, the way that whole situation went down. But he played. So, one, that is kind of crazy. Two, I don't know how I feel about that. It looked like a pretty bad injury, and it did not seem like he had a full day of practice at all last week. And three, that is kind of what you want from your offensive line. To have an offensive lineman that's a rookie come in and have the mentality he does and the style he does, I think has just completely changed the culture of the offensive line and really the culture of the offense. And I love that. He's been such a great piece for the Seahawks that it makes the entire draft, no matter what else happens, a complete success. Just because of what you did with him. He was a first rounder, but still. That's the keys. So I think as a whole, the offensive line played well, allowed one sack. I do think the strength of Tennessee, oddly enough, is their defensive line. Jeffrey Simmons is a really good player. So for only one sack, and I didn't think they played poorly. Their run lanes, I thought they did all right in pass protection. The offensive line played well. So like to see that. Like to see the improvement from last year in that regard. And then the last key thing we'll talk about is obviously JSN because, he continues to do ridiculous shit. Had 2 touchdowns on the day. Had over 100 yards. Became the, I want to say, only 4th player in NFL history to have at least 75 yards in 11 games in a season. So that's pretty incredible. I want to say he was the first player to ever do it in his first 11 games of the season. Pretty incredible. He's been just so wildly consistent. It's been insane. And then he broke the single season Seahawks receiving record. Um, that was set by DK Metcalf a couple of years ago. He broke it. He set the record at 1,313 yards. And there's still 6 games left in the season. So he's not only breaking the record, he's going to shatter the record. And he could be on pace, and he is on pace to shatter the all-time receiving record for a single season. So he's on pace for, I want to say, like 2,060 yards on the season. No receiver has ever had more than 2,000 yards in a season. So he's on pace to do that, all the while on the offense that passes the second least in the NFL. So they pass the ball at the second lowest rate in the NFL, only ahead of the Baltimore Ravens. And there's no real surprise that the Baltimore Ravens pass the ball at the lowest level in the NFL. That's just who they are. But yeah, Seattle passing the ball at just a low rate, and for him to be doing this is pretty incredible. So to the talking heads out there that seem to think George Pickens is the best receiver in football, maybe just look at what is going on in Seattle. I know we are in the Northwest and no one talked about us. And I know Pickens is a Cowboy, and we all love to talk about the Cowboys. But there is a receiver on pace to break the record. So maybe, just maybe, talk about that. Just a suggestion. Just a thought. But yeah. So offensively, 30 points, never anything to scoff at. Thought they played well. Jason breaking the record was just icing on the cake. And we'll see where we go from here. Defensively, I have far less to talk about. It was just a weird week for the defense. I don't want to make excuses, but not having EJ, not having Ernest Jones, not having Therese Knight was very noticeable. Having one of them, I think this game is very different. Patrick O'Connell, who spent the season on the practice squad, had to start this game next to Drake Thomas. And he didn't play bad. Like, I'm not going to say bad. You could just tell the difference between him and Knight or him and Ernest Jones. And obviously Ernest Jones is the guy at the linebacker position for Seattle. But you could really tell the difference. And then Okada went down during the game. We'll talk about more about that with his injury, which looks to really sin a safety. Seattle has done things to mitigate that issue. But I think you were noticing that, which is kind of the coverage issues in the middle of the field without one of your starting safeties and one of your starting linebackers, pretty much. There are some issues in the middle of the field that Cam Ward, this is kind of one of the takeaways I have from this game. Cam Ward is legit. I know they're 1-8, or they're 1 something. What, 1-11, 1-10? Something ridiculous. They are terrible, but Cam Ward is legit. He looked really good. Was making plays out of structure, was making plays with his feet. Was just honestly the reason the Titans were in the football game. So shout out to him. I think if the Titans build around him, get him a legit head coach, get him some weapons, the Titans could be decent. He looks pretty solid. I know he is still a rookie. He's had issues this year, but I thought this was one of his best games of the season. So I was really impressed with him. So yeah. Defensively, the injury situation was a little weird. I still think they played well. Obviously, 2 late touchdowns. I don't love it, but we've seen this team do that this year. Like, the defense just kind of takes the foot off the gas a little bit once they get up to a lead at times. And I don't love it, but it happens. They do lock it down when they need to, so I'm not that worried for that. Offensive player of the game, Obviously, it's JSN. It's always going to be JSN until somebody does something that JSN isn't doing, is really where we're at. He should be in the conversation for Offensive Player of the Year, and really, I would not be surprised. It won't happen, but he could be in the conversation for MVP with just how well he's playing and what he's doing for this offense. Again, not going to happen. It's a quarterback award, but he's been that good, and he's meant that much to this offense. So he pretty much is going to get it every week, unless somebody does something else.
Okay.
And then Defensive Player of the Game, I was kind of stuck between two. Again, it was a little bit of a weird game. I don't know if anybody really stood out on defense, but I did feel like Derek Hall and Leo both had good games. Both had a sack. Both looked disruptive on the defensive line. I think Derek Hall had like 8 pressures in the game. Did get his first sack in the game. So I just thought those two guys kind of stood out the most on what was a lackluster defensive performance. So I think that's kind of where we're at there. That does it for the game. Didn't really have a whole ton to talk about. You are playing the worst team in the league. You got the win. It was ugly, but you got it. So that's all that really matters. There is a lot.
I think like the Seahawks played well, but I do think you saw a little bit of that. It's the Titans. Kind of came off a rough battle with the Rams.
Yeah.
We're just gonna play a little, I don't want to use the word soft, but a little lighter.
We're just going to get the job done and go home.
Yeah, just get through it. Sometimes you need it. As long as you can pull out the win, then
yeah,
those games happen. As long as you don't get stuck in that mindset and in that mentality, sometimes those games happen.
Yeah. So there is a lot of just cleanup news, though, with the Seahawks. There have been a lot of things they've done this week. So prior to the game, they did announce a couple things, one of which is Jonathan Hankins, who's been on IR all year, will not return. He's had a back issue. I have really no idea what's going on. I kind of forgot he was still technically a part of the Seahawks. Him not coming back is no worry to me whatsoever. He's probably just going to retire. I wish him the best in retirement. That's where we're at with that. They did also announce that Torrey Horton is going on IR, so he'll be out for a minimum of 4 weeks. The earliest he can return is week 16 versus the Rams. So, unfortunate there, but having Rashid Shaheed does help mitigate that loss. Continuing on the theme, the Seahawks waived cornerback Darion Kendrick. Not really sure why they did this. I'm assuming there was something in the background that caused this. I thought he played well when he got his opportunities at corner when Witherspoon was out. But since then, he's been a special teams guy, and honestly, I don't think he's been performing fantastically on special teams. And my guess is there was some background thing happening. So he was waived. He was also claimed by the Rams, who the Seahawks claimed him from at the beginning of the season. So he goes back to the Rams. I mean, it's fine. He was a depth piece. I'm not that worried about it. Injuries coming out of the game was very interesting. There was 3 key ones. Ty Okada left the game with an oblique injury. I don't expect him to be on IR. It sounds like he's a day-to-day type injury. And at safety, there was a move to mitigate that situation for now. So I'm not worried about that. Chaz Surratt, who had an ankle injury during the game, has been placed on IR. I'm not really sure what the injury was. He has just been a special teamer. I expect them to just bring Patrick. I think they actually made the move. I'll double check. I think they signed Patrick O'Connell to the 53. Pretty simple fill-in, just to play on special teams. Shouldn't be too much there. And then George Holani, I expect to be put on IR because they signed another running back today. We'll get more into that. So 3 guys. I think 2 of which are going on IR. I think one of them's already been confirmed. The other one I don't expect to go on IR. As I mentioned, the Seahawks made a move to help solidify the safety. They are bringing in Quandre Diggs back. He's returning. Spent the past year with the Titans. He was waived by the Titans. He's re-signing with the Seahawks. He's going to be signed to the practice squad. Obviously, I loved Quandre Diggs when he was a Seahawk. I am really excited that he's back. I think this is a really good move. With the uncertainty that is Ty Okada's injury, the uncertainty that is Julian Love's injury, I think this helps kind of solidify that safety room until one of those 2 can come back. It sounds like Julian Love will be back not this week, but next week. So shouldn't be long, but still having Quandre Diggs in the building is a fantastic signing on the practice squad. And then just for quick housekeeping as well, as I mentioned, they signed Patrick O'Connell to the 53, Shaquille Griffin to the 53 to replace Darion Kendrick, and then they signed Cam Akers to the 53 to replace what I'm assuming George Holani going to IR. That move has not been confirmed quite yet, but I expect that move will come out here soon just because Cam Akers is a running back. I'm actually not. This move is a little iffy for me. I think Cam Akers is an interesting option. I just don't think we've ever really seen him take advantage of any option. He's always kind of just been injured or not great. So we'll see. Obviously, he is just kind of the third option behind K9 and Charbonnet, but we'll see what happens there. And then to fill the 2 spots that O'Connell and Griffin made on the practice squad, they obviously brought in Quandre Diggs. They also brought in Myles Gaskin, a running back, and Jimmy Holiday, a wide receiver. And then they waived offensive tackle Logan Brown from the practice squad. So that's all the moves they made. And then they also designated defensive tackle Riley Mills, their 5th round pick. There was the 5th or the 4th. I can't remember. He's spent the whole year on IR, coming off of his ACL tear that he happened in the college football playoffs. He has been designated to return. That should be pretty significant for the defensive line. Obviously, he is a rookie. We're going to kind of see what happens. I have no idea if he's actually going to play, but he's returning from injury, so that's pretty cool. And that's kind of it for the cleanup news. A lot of roster shuffling today and this week. Just kind of unfortunate with who's going on IR, who they decided to waive. Some roster shuffling needed to happen. So that kind of does it for the Seahawks. Just
nice.
More news than I expected.
I mean, with a team with genuine playoff hopes, and I think deep playoff hopes, I'm not surprised that you're making moves, especially with some of the injuries you've had.
Yeah.
So good. I think it's good to see them putting in that effort and that focus.
Yeah.
On making sure the roster is as tight as it can be.
And I will say, this coaching staff and this front office has proved, if you're not good enough, if there's issues, they're not going to hold on to you. That's kind of more related to the Darion Kendrick situation. But I think bringing in Cam Akers, I think as much as I don't think he's that good, if the team feels that he can help down the stretch if George Holani's on IR, then I kind of trust where they're at. And he's also only 26, so who knows if he comes in and has to play and he does well, maybe you find something there. But I'm not holding out hope.
That's fair. That's fair. Alrighty. Well, then we will get into our games of the week. Um, I watched Cleveland Browns versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Um, it was Shador's first official start, his first planned start. The Raiders fired an offensive coach, so I'm not going to spend a whole ton of time talking about them. First Shador played fine. It was not phenomenal, but it was not bad either.
Yeah.
Didn't have anything really stupid. No massive sacks that could have been avoided. No real interceptions. It was a solid first game by a rookie.
And I will say,
The one play. Go ahead.
I was like, he did make a really good throw on that first touchdown. That looked really
rolling
good.
to his right, feeling the pressure, deep ball.
And
it was a great throw.
Sometimes all you want to see from a rookie is one or two great plays in a game.
Yeah.
You don't have to be great the whole game. Just show me one or two good or great plays.
You need to see the thing that got you drafted. Now, I understand all of the discourse that's been going around about Shador and all of that. But at the end of the day, there was talent. Do we see that talent that we saw in college translate to the NFL? And he did that. I think he earned another start. I don't know that he's the Browns' answer at quarterback. I don't know that he's anybody's answer at quarterback. What I saw, though, was a young man seize the opportunity he was given. He went in there. He was far better prepared. You can see that he absolutely took advantage of the reps he got. And he made it work.
And let's be honest, even if the Raiders suck this year, you still had to go up against Max Crosby.
And that's not nothing.
Like, he's one of the best defense tackles or defensive linemen in football.
Yeah.
And to be able to sit there in a game and have him coming at you and you not look like a deer in headlights,
petrified,
says something.
Yeah. Thought he played well. Again, first game as a rookie, you get the win. That is rare in Browns history.
Yeah.
They mentioned it on the broadcast. It's one of the first in like over 20 years.
It's
been a long time. So congratulations to him. Obviously, fuck the Browns, but whatever. It's a different thing.
Yeah.
The thing I will say is his mouth continues to be a problem. I'm not sure what we haven't learned. I'm all for confident. A quarterback should be confident. They should. They should be the most confident person in the room. You don't have to be the smartest. Probably should be. You're a quarterback. But you should be the most confident. Confident and cocky are two different things. A little humility goes a long way, especially as a quarterback. So, saying I'm what they've been waiting for, and look at me, look at what I can do. It's a team effort, bro. It's a football team, and you are not the entirety of that team. And they are one of the best defenses in the league, with or without you. Myles Garrett is one of the best, with or without you.
And your stats were heavily inflated by your running back taking a pass that went like 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, 72 yards to the house.
Yeah. Now, they would have been slightly better had Jerry Jeudy been paying attention.
Yeah, that was
like, if we're aware of the field, I'm not entirely sure what he was doing. But
what I don't understand on that play specifically, why would you slow down? Why did you do literally any of
don't
what
know.
you did? You could have ran forward and just
Yeah.
got tackled,
And it would have been fine.
and it would have been like, all
But he
right,
slowed down,
you could have.
looked at the players to his left, and went, "Oh, that's weird. What are you doing?"
Yeah, I've never seen a
It
player
was,
stop running
yeah.
after catching the football in the middle of the field.
It
So
was weird. It was
odd.
well, I've seen it, but you might be a little young to remember Eric Decker on the
I
Jets.
do remember
So
Decker on the Jets.
you might be a little young.
And yet he was a great receiver when he was on the Broncos.
He
At
was a
times.
great receiver, but he hit that point where the middle of the field, suddenly the largest rock in the world,
Yeah.
just made us fall over. But it was a good game. Let's calm down.
Yeah.
You still have a lot of things to improve on. You still have a lot of work that needs done. You are still a project. And you were still a 5th-round pick. So a little humility would vastly help you. Because when the Browns don't want to keep you and other teams don't want to sign you, it will be your attitude.
Yes.
Talent will only get you so far, even in the NFL. And let's be honest, you're not the most talented.
Yeah.
Solid game. Think there's potential. Don't know what that ceiling is yet, but don't lower the ceiling with your behavior.
Yes. So
Let your on the field be honestly the only talking you do. Let's take a Marshawn Lynch approach. I think that'd be great.
yeah, probably
And
help.
not the dickish thing where you mouth but don't say anything. Just don't say anything.
Just
Don't talk. Just quiet.
show up so you don't get fined.
How'd it go? Great team effort. That's it. That's all you guys say. It's a team. You're part of a team. So, decent game. Not surprised he got the starting job. Stefanski obviously was asked about it post-game. Did not comment. They never do. It's neither the time nor the place. Shador, I think, is entitled to a couple of starts.
And
the Browns need to see what they have in him.
Is
their draft capital?
Dylan Gabriel had the concussion. I think he's already been cleared from said concussion. But he hasn't been good.
No.
But he hasn't been good.
It's not been good.
So, you might as well see what you got from the kid.
Yeah. If Dylan Gabriel had gone out there and lit it up and was clearly the answer, fine. He hadn't been.
No.
The likelihood, not going to say technically it's impossible, but the likelihood that you win the division or make the playoffs, and really in the AFC North, you would need to win the division to make the playoffs.
Yep.
And in the AFC as a whole, with the landscape of it, the only way teams coming out of the North is the division right now. While that's not likely, see what you have.
Yeah,
see
you
what
might as
your
well
options
find out. Because who knows?
Maybe you can get your fan base excited. Maybe you can save Stefanski's job. I don't know.
And, okay, if Shador shows he has talent, at the end of the day, teams need to win.
Yeah.
They will play the talented guy. Now, again, they'll do it for a while, but they'll reach a point where it just becomes not worth it. So,
and there are teams, historically now, I understand not trading to that team, but there are teams historically that are not great at choosing quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And they will need one next year. So, I understand not wanting to trade a quarterback to your division rival, and you're already pissed at the Browns for doing that. but the Steelers might need a quarterback. So
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers only
Yep.
has a couple years left. Honestly,
I don't
running out of time.
I think he might be out of time.
That's fair.
Think he's out. Think he's
So good game. Shador played the way he needed to play.
Yep.
Not surprised he's got the start. I don't know that unless he went out there and completely trashed it, this was the most likely outcome.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, as for the Raiders, unsurprisingly, attempting to use a time machine with Pete Carroll and Geno Smith and Chip Kelly is not going well.
No. And bringing back the Seahawks teams that sucked. Well, I shouldn't say sucked. That were never good enough.
Yeah.
Probably
I will say, I heard Tyler Lockett's name more in that game than I have in years.
I mean, I respect it. I respect.
This is sad.
I respect the fact
that that's the best receiver you seem to have.
Which I don't think is true. And that's the sad reality. I think they are approaching this at such a backwards way as the Raiders. Your season's gone to shit. Why are you trotting out Tyler Lockett? Okay. He's only got like 2 years left, if that.
Yeah.
You have rookies. Use them.
Yeah. You have offensive rookie of the year on your roster.
Use him.
And Brock Bowers. Like, I just don't know what we're doing.
You drafted, I think, 2 rookie wide receivers this year. Use them.
You drafted Genty. Get him used to catching the ball.
Do something. Literally anything.
I heard Tyler Lockett's name more than I have in years. It was weird. It's weird.
Like, I like it. I love Tyler Lockett. He is one of my favorite players ever.
He's great.
He should not be your main weapon in the year 2025.
But like, to seriously watch a game with Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, and Tyler Lockett, I was like, is this the Seahawks JV team? What's happening right now?
I mean, they might as well be. Like, the Stone Forsythe was also a Seahawk, got his ass beat that game. They also have Jamal Adams. He's actually not been terrible this year, which is saying something. You know, Tyler Lockett, you have Geno.
Like, it's
a little interesting.
It's weird. It's not going well, unsurprisingly.
Their offensive line sucks. I recently found out who their offensive line coach is, and I'm really unsurprised that their offensive line sucks. So, not really sure what to find.
We're going to use them as an example for an idea I had, but we're going to do that post games of the week.
Okay.
It was another talking point that we didn't quite get to last week. So, I had an idea on how to fix primetime games.
Okay, well, let me get through my game of the week, and then we'll get into that.
We're getting there. But we are done with Browns Raiders. So we will kick it to Brendan's game of the week.
I had Texans Bills on Thursday Night Football. This game was not at all how I thought this game was going to go. We'll start on the Texans side because they won the game 23-19. And I'm just going to quickly talk about them because there's only one thing to say, and it's that defense is really good. Like, really good. And what the Seahawks did to that defense is really impressive. Not to make this about the Seahawks, but this defense is really good. They had 8 sacks, 2 interceptions. They were making the Bills' life miserable. They are a large reason the Texans won this game. So yeah, that defense is legit, is really good, and honestly, is pretty fun to watch. Offensively, Davis Mills did enough. Had 2 touchdowns. Didn't crack 200 yards passing. Did just enough. I do believe CJ Stroud is coming back next week, so you won't see a ton of Davis Mills again. But I do think Davis Mills is a good backup because of this. He's won you, 2 games now as a backup? And he's kind of doing it without turning the ball over. He's not taking sacks. He's not putting up these crazy stat lines, but he's being pretty efficient. He's at least getting them down the field, getting them in position to score points. So, pretty impressive there on the Texans side. On the Bills side, I don't really know how Josh Allen goes from the game he had last week to this game. It's a little shocking. For reference, he had 6 touchdowns last week by himself. He had none this week. It was a little weird. Threw 2 interceptions. Last year, I do think was kind of an anomaly with his style of play. Josh Allen is not known for being safe with the football. That's not what makes him Josh Allen. That's not what makes him good. Josh Allen is good because he takes risk. He throws the ball down the field. You're more likely to throw interceptions throwing the ball down the field. So last year, I do think was kind of an anomaly with how little he turned the ball over. This year, he's kind of back to the range we expect him in. He's just not, I think, there are games like this where he's not overcoming those interceptions with touchdowns. So that's a little nerve-wracking. James Cook had a good game. He's, I think, been pretty solid this season. The issue, I think, with the Bills is that defense is not very good. Obviously, this game, 23 points, but it was 23 points to Davis Mills and the Texans' offense, who has not been good this year. That offensive line has really struggled. The Bills' defensive line had no sacks on the day. You can't do that. You can't have a game with 0 sacks and expect to win in the NFL. They didn't get the Texans to turn the ball over. They had no interceptions, no fumbles. You cannot expect to win games by having 0 sacks and 0 turnovers. You just can't. And
Yep.
I think the defense is really struggling, and I think Josh Allen this year has not been able to dig them out of certain holes. Obviously, last week he did. He had 6 touchdowns. He did throw 2 interceptions, but he had the touchdowns to dig them out of the hole. There have been too many games this year where he has not been able to dig them out of the hole. They've dug themselves. So, I would not be afraid of the Bills if I'm in the AFC. Simple as that. This team has struggled at times to run the ball. They've struggled at times to throw the ball. They've struggled with turnovers. Their defense cannot stop the run, and occasionally cannot pass rush to save their life.
Yep.
It is a very interesting team, and however, everything could be going wrong for this football team, and they still might win because Josh Allen might put up 6 touchdowns. It's a very hit or miss way to live, but occasionally they will win games, and they can win tight games too. So the Bills are an interesting one. The Texans are another one. They've made at least their division possibly interesting with this win. I do think they still have to play the Colts twice, which is why it makes the division interesting. And that defense is very legit. So kudos to the Texans.
It was an odd game to watch.
Yeah.
It was. I think the Bills don't have an identity outside of Josh Allen.
Yes.
And that has been a criticism of the Bills for years. That unless Josh Allen is Superman, they can't get it done. The problem is he cannot be that, and he is not that. every week. And this defense has never quite lived up to expectation. Sean McDermott is a good defensive coach. He is not a great defensive coach.
And it begs the question why he's still the coach if the defense has never quite been.
I'm a little confused by that.
Been where
I don't know if it's one where Josh Allen is a big McDermott fan, and therefore that's enough. I think that even if the Ravens had a losing season, Lamar could verbally save Harbaugh's job. I think the fact that the Bills are always in the playoffs and make it to the AFC Championship often, even though they lose to the same team a lot. I think if he wanted, he could verbally keep Sean McDermott his job. I don't know if that's the case. I'm just saying I do think Allen has that authority. They've always had a really great O-line. I know they're critical of their wide receivers. I think there are other problems here as a whole and as a roster whole. And I think it's another unfortunate example of is Josh Allen's prime being wasted? But they do not have an identity. And last year, when they ran the ball a lot,
they at least
kind of mitigated the turnovers. It was at least an identity that did not surround and revolve around one human being playing elite football 24/7. So, and even last year, we saw the stumbles. This year, unfortunately, we're just seeing a little bit more of them.
Yeah.
We're getting back to the turnovers, and we're not running the ball as much. We're not running it as well. It is a clear lack of an identity. And defensively, those are the paramount things. We talked about it with the Ravens. We talked about it with the Seahawks. The sacks and the turnovers, those change games. Those things win the battle. The trenches is where it matters. And they're not getting it done. So, it was a weird game. I did not expect the Bills to lose to Davis Mills.
No.
I did not.
That was not on my list of things to happen this week.
No. Would not have been on my bingo card.
Nope.
At all. It's a weird time in the league, right? The Chiefs barely escaped being mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. The Bills lost to
the Texans.
And the Ravens are clawing at first in their division at 6-5. Yeah. So weird time. It's a weird time.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
Alrighty. Well, if that does it for Bills Texans.
Yep.
Obviously, want to talk about the rest of the week. Want to get into some other games that were really good, really interesting. Yep. Before we do that, I did want to discuss how I think we fix primetime.
Okay.
And I think there were two really good examples of why this week. And last week.
Let's hear it.
I think that to be eligible for a primetime game, one of two things must be true. Both teams either had to be first in their division the year prior, or it has to be a division game.
Okay.
Here's why I say these two things. Right now, a lot of primetime games are based off expected storyline.
Yes.
The Raiders
were expected to be
a
alright
lot
this year.
of primetime games because of the changes they made. They haven't been, and it's been boring as fuck to watch. Now, if you give the Raiders, if you go, you know what, we want to show the Raiders in primetime, but it's the Broncos, that game is relevant. It matters.
Or like if they want
Even
to do
if,
that or the Chiefs, something.
yeah, maybe the Raiders get their ass whooped.
But
Right?
it was
And it's still
relevant.
kind of a lopsided game. But there's a storyline there. It has the potential to matter when you get into the nitty-gritty of the mathematics.
Yep.
Of, okay, the Broncos beat the Raiders, but the Raiders beat the Chiefs, so when week 17 and 18 happen, the tiebreaker goes where based off these games. I understand that the NFL is an entertainment business, and you want the storyline to also drive viewership. I'm all for that. But constantly, we see teams get primetime games based off expectation versus reality. The year Aaron Rodgers was first named the starter in New York, they were given an extreme amount of primetime games. He snapped his Achilles 3 plays into the season.
And
You
you
want
kind
to
of had to
bet
live with it.
who was regretting that? Storylines are great. They only minorly drive the NFL.
Yes.
I think first place teams, and sometimes they'll still be lopsided. That's a game we're going to talk about. Rams, Buccaneers. Not how I thought that was going to go.
Nope.
But it had potential.
It had potential. I think there were other issues that happened.
There were other issues. A lot of potential. You knew this game could drive viewership. There would be people invested in this. This had playoff implications. It was relevant. It mattered.
Yes.
Division games, even terrible teams,
matter.
Division games matter.
I will say, because I do know this goes into the grand scheme of primetime games, every team has to have, I want to say, at least one primetime game. And I also want to say they make it so that every team has a Monday and a Sunday, I think. I'm not 100% sure of that.
And that's why I do know
I do know that you have to have one.
They have to have at least one. And that's why I think if the Saints are going to
And-
get a primetime game, let's let it be a division game.
Okay, I agree
where
with that.
it matters.
Because I do think every team should get at least one primetime game.
One. Yeah.
Because I think it is unfair to the fans of those teams.
That they can't
Like, I
see
get
those
it.
teams.
The Titans suck. But I think for the fans,
you
should have
Titans
one.
Fan, yeah, I absolutely
be able to
agree.
have
and that's
one.
why I don't. I don't think it should just be winning teams or just first place. Some of these games are fillers. Some of them are fillers. So I'm like, those that were like, we just need an extra primetime game, right? We need Chiefs Bills, or we need Ravens Bengals on primetime. That's exciting. That's probably going to be a good game. If the requirement is everyone needs at least one or two, every team plays 6 divisional games. You can't tell me there aren't enough divisional games to fill out your primetime schedule. I don't believe you. And okay, if you say 5, each team plays 5 divisional games because that's the last game of the week as well. I kind of also think it should be the first week, but that's a different thing. Like, I think that the first week of the NFL should be a divisional game. But I care more about primetime at this point.
I slightly disagree with the first week. Just because I think that's a little excessive.
And that's fair. And I care more about good primetime games than the first week thing.
Yeah.
So, every team, if you discount weeks 18, because everyone plays a divisional game in week 18.
Yep.
Every team in the NFL plays 5 primetime or 5 divisional games. I do not believe you that there are not enough of those to fill out
primetime.
I don't believe you.
I think you could. It would.
So, I'm not saying you wouldn't still have blowouts. I'm not saying you wouldn't still have some boring games,
But
but
at
they would
least,
matter. And then the people that get to see their teams on primetime for the first time would get to see the most exciting version. Primetime games are different. Division matchups are different. People
yeah, at
lose.
least,
The Bills lose to the Dolphins.
yeah, at least like I don't know, Titans Texans or Titans Colts would be mildly entertaining. Like
Yeah.
you would at least
Again,
get
the
something
Bills
out of
lose
it.
to the Dolphins potentially on primetime. It's a division game.
Yeah.
We see it happen all the time. It's interesting. It's relevant. It's mathematically important. Even if that team is trash.
Okay.
If I sweep the Browns, but the Bengals split with them, that matters. Mathematically, that matters.
Okay.
That's how I would fix primetime football. Is I
I'm
would.
mostly on board with this. I think, unfortunately, the NFL schedule is such a
It's a
random
complicated thing.
shit
I know it
show.
is.
I don't know
I
if they'd
I
ever be
know.
able to do this, but I don't hate the idea.
I just know that
I think
for
the problem,
decades I've been watching football.
yeah,
And every year the NFL picks a team based off story and projected story. And then the Cowboys get like 30, right? The Cowboys get like all the primetime games. And then a team that we think is going to go from worst to first.
gets a couple.
And it's never, that team never does it.
Yeah,
The
I
Raiders
think
aren't doing it. The Jets didn't do it.
because then I think at least if you did that, and like for example, let's say you pick, let's say you do like you have to have won your division in order to get a primetime game without it being a divisional game.
Yeah.
Let's just pick two teams. Let's just say you pick the Rams and currently the Ravens. Let's just say you did that.
Cool. Cool.
And the Ravens come out, or like the Rams come out, and Matthew Stafford retires at the end of the year, but you've already decided you're going to do that, and now the Rams suck. I think it's tough then because now you've pretty much put a team there that you expected and that was good last year, but it's
Yeah.
now not.
Now it's not so great. And here's the thing. I think you're gonna have that. You're gonna have lopsided games.
Yeah.
But one game versus
Versus.
all of them. For weeks,
Yeah.
primetime has been terrible. The best game we've had in weeks was Bills Texans.
Yeah. Like it
Like,
has.
when you look at, we thought going into the season, the Buccaneers were going to be better.
And then they got hit with just so many injuries.
And then so many injuries. They're missing so many people on both sides of the ball. That game was lopsided. But it's still exciting.
Yeah.
You kind of think, can Baker pull it out? Can this team fight for it? It's a lopsided game. But there was potential.
There was potential. I'm
That team was still in it.
I'm on
And
board
in the
with this
playoff
change.
conversation. So I'm not saying don't give any bad team. You have to have a primetime spot. I think for your fans, you should have one.
And then I think for the better ship of the NFL, you should have one. Because I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
Like, a team can suck, but that's still, like, they're an NFL team.
You're still an NFL team. But let's make the game as relevant and as meaningful as possible.
No, I like
the best way to do that is division matchups.
I like the idea. I think if the NFL could work it out, I think this should be something they consider.
Because then even if it's not the best game,
it's relevant.
It mattered.
It's relevant.
It mattered. It's relevant. And then I think as a fan, if you only get to truly see your team once a year, wouldn't you want to see a division rival game?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be the most fun, the most exciting, the most interesting?
Like, if, I guess, the Steelers might struggle the next couple of years depending on what they do with the quarterback. I think a Steelers fan would much rather go watch them against the Ravens on primetime.
Yeah.
Or them against the Browns or Bengals. I've just said Ravens because I think that's the biggest rival, but, like, I think you'd much rather go see that than
You go see that,
Raiders,
then
Jets,
yeah.
or some random bullshit.
And that has nobody cares about Raiders. Who's that relevant to? Ravens, Broncos, or no, Raiders, Broncos.
Relevant.
That's relevant. That's important. Let's do it. So I'm obviously not in charge of the scheduling. I know that a lot goes into that. I do.
And
Not
I hate to break it
unaware
to
of that.
anybody, nobody from the NFL watches this podcast.
No.
So we don't really stand a chance here, but we can hope.
But maybe y'all, as our viewers, we push the comments, the likes. Let's share it to our friends. This clip. Let's get it to Roger Goodell, and maybe we'll figure something out. It's how I would fix Brent Fan.
And I like it. I like the overall
I would have
idea.
those two criteria.
I think that works.
If you went, okay, we can kind of do it, but we have a couple one-offs.
That's fine.
And international games, I don't want to screw with international games.
International games are tough, and I also don't necessarily
they're just
think
excited
they're prime
to get a
time
game. You have to
they
consider
happen super early.
Yeah, you have to consider travel schedule. There's a lot that goes into that. I'm not trying to mess with that. But your Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night.
No,
we can do better. We can do better.
I agree, and they need to start doing better. So, not that I'm holding out hope, but
no. But with that being said, we will get into the rest of the week. Obviously, one I've kind of brought up a lot, big one I wanted to talk about, was Rams Buccaneers.
Yep.
Rams got the win, 34-7. I anticipated the Buccaneers loss. Right, the Rams have been a really good team. Thought it was going to be a lot closer.
The minute he got hurt, I knew.
No, that injury was terrible to watch. As a Ravens fan, I've been following Baker's career since the beginning. And when he went down, I could just see when he hurt that shoulder in Cleveland.
Yeah.
It was like I got PTSD flashback. I went, mother. And I'm going to be honest with you, they zoomed in on him because, right?
On that throw, oh my god,
loves injuries. And I think he had a PTSD flashback. I think he was terrified.
Yeah, it was rough. It was a rough watch.
Luckily, it does sound like he's avoided major injury. But I think, unfortunately, this year is not going to shape up the way
and yet
Bucs fans hoped for.
Their season's not over yet because their division is
not over, and they
trash.
should be getting
they should be getting some injury help here soon. They're probably going to get Bucky Irving back here soon.
Irving and his wide receiver.
Chris Godwin's back. He's just been on a pitch count.
Yeah. I think that will help.
There are things that will help the situation.
It was a rough watch.
But yeah, not great. Honestly, I had one game I want to talk about.
Okay.
Because this week in the NFL just didn't really call to me. Honestly, I just didn't care. But there's one game, and it's really, I just want to talk about one person. And it's Jameis Winston. Because I think after this year, he should finish out his time with the Giants. Yeah. I think there should be a special contract in the NFL for Jameis Winston. And it's a contract that pretty much states that whenever a quarterback gets hurt on a football team, or something happens, because quarterbacks get hurt a lot.
Yeah.
That he is the automatic backup if the team chooses to do so. That he can just be plugged in to the team, he gets the full week of practice, and then he gets to play the game. Because genuinely, he is probably the single most entertaining person to watch play the game of football.
Yeah.
Because 100%. He might not win the game, but by God, it's going to be fun. He's going to throw touchdowns. He's going to throw interceptions. And holy shit, he might catch a 33-yard touchdown in which he breaks the tackle That
Yeah.
play right there was probably the best play
I
I've watched ever.
I'm gonna be honest. I do not know that there is a player in the NFL that just enjoys
Going out there.
football more than Jameis Winston.
And that's
I
why
don't.
I think like it should just be he has like a contract that just states whenever a team needs him, they can call him and he'll be there. Like I
I
think
think contractually he should have to play, like, if he's like signed with the team, he has to play one game a year at least
but like my point being like I don't want to have him just stuck on the bench, never to see the
on a
field.
team. He can just kind of jump
I
around.
need him to be able to just play. I just need it in my life. Because unfortunately,
He
no team will make him the starter. And I get that.
no,
But if a
no.
team
We are
genuinely is so bad and just wants to be relevant, that's your
yeah.
guy. Because
That's your
holy
guy.
shit, is he just the most entertaining player ever. Like, honestly. And it's because I think he
And
just loves football. He just wants to go out there and have fun. Be with the
he just wants to
guys.
play football, and he's always popular in locker rooms.
Yeah,
He seems
he's a
like a
great
great guy.
person.
Like
You
he
know,
just, I don't think there's someone that loves the game more.
and yeah, he'll go out there. He'll throw a couple touchdowns. He'll probably throw a
Couple
couple
interceptions.
interceptions. He might do
Um,
something really crazy. You know, it's just a good time. It's just a good
it's
time.
just good time.
So
Football.
that's my suggestion to football and how to make it better is just
No,
allow
that's
Jameis
fair.
a contract that allows him to just kind of go where needed. Be that anytime QB. Like,
Honestly, I thought for a brief moment, and I think I always think this when I watch Jameis Winston play football, I went, oh my god, are we seeing the resurgence of his career? And then they blew a fourth quarter lead, and I went, nope, there goes that.
no, unfortunately, he's just. It's one of those. He'll never actually be named a starter.
It's too inconsistent. But it's so fun to watch. I
But
think that
here's the
was one
thing.
of my favorite games this week.
At no point in a game he plays is it not going to be entertaining.
No, and at no point anybody that struggles with body language
That's who you
should
need.
study Jameis
That's
Winston.
because at no point.
I think if you draft a rookie quarterback, you should go get Jameis.
Yeah. You know what? Honestly,
Like
I
he's
think it works.
like energy wise, locker room wise.
Where has he been
He
that
knows
they've
how to
drafted
study.
quarterbacks?
He knows how to prep.
Where
Here,
is he? I mean,
like
like
New
New York, obviously, and Jackson
Cleveland.
Dart has done well. I don't think Cleveland drafted a
Um,
quarterback with him there.
Is it not?
I don't think
No,
they
I
did.
guess they didn't.
And then they didn't draft one in Tampa Bay with him.
No.
They didn't draft one in New Orleans with him.
No.
Honestly, this is the first time he's had a quarterback drafted with the team he's been on.
But we talk about constantly, like, who's a great person for a rookie quarterback?
He's
and a lot of the
top
criteria
of the list. He's the top of the list.
Is motivation, prep, energy, and respect. And Jameis has a lot of those qualities. But he's also not someone
That's
who, one, is going to be an asshole if he's afraid you're going to take his job.
yeah.
And two, he's not one you have to fear taking your job.
Like, and truthfully, as a team, if you then sit there and go, you know what, we need a quarterback. Maybe our rookie isn't ready. Jameis will go out there, play a couple games, maybe keep you afloat. You know, he might be able to sneak a win.
Get your rookie ready.
Get your rookie ready.
He will.
Get your rookie out there, and then he will. You'll be like, yo, rookie's ready. Sounds good. Let's get him out there.
Oh, you know who they had? You know, they did.
Who?
Didn't Cleveland draft DTR that year?
Yeah, they did. I'm gonna be honest,
because I remember watching him.
Yep, you're right.
It was.
He was.
Hard Knocks.
I always forget that
he was
drafted, not a UDFA.
Yeah.
I always feel like he's like a UDFA.
Hard Knocks, he was like, Winston was talking him through film and like how to watch it, what he breaks down, what he finds important.
If you have a rookie quarterback and you just want either a bridge guy or a backup, unfortunately,
veteran guy, Winston's a great option.
And you know what? I would want Jameis Winston playing until he's 50. I don't know if it would go well,
100%.
but I would want it.
I want it. I want it.
Because he's just, I think he's great for football, honestly. Like, he might not win games, but he's great for football.
He is great for football.
So, that's my
Uh,
contribution to how to make football better. Just allow
that's
Jameis
fair.
Winston to
That's
play
the name of the
football.
game this week. That's the name of the game this week.
Just allow him to
Um,
play football. And I think...
I had one final how to make football better.
Okay.
And that is mathematically eliminate the Chiefs from the playoffs, which the Colts had one job.
Yep.
Kind of fucked it up.
Yes, they did.
And I want to talk about how they fucked it up.
Okay. I think I know where this is going.
You're winning.
Yep.
20-9.
Yep.
Going into the fourth quarter. You have one job.
Yep.
I understand that Patrick Mahomes is one of the best fourth quarter quarterbacks in the NFL. I understand that. I'm not stupid.
Like, it's a fact. It's why he's the best quarterback in the league at times.
But when you have a phenomenal running back who's really carried this team, you take the ball out of his hands and give it to the guy that we were not convinced a year ago would ever start in the NFL again. I know that the Chiefs were shutting down the run.
I just have,
but for the love of fuck,
have one issue. Okay, if you look at the two running backs that played in this game stats, on one side you have Jonathan Taylor, who before this week was the absolute positive odds-on favorite to win Offensive Player of the Year, and truth be told, could have MVP votes. He was that good and has that many touchdowns. On the other side, you have Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt, solid running back in his heyday. He's kind of past it.
Not so much anymore.
He's all right. He's serviceable. He's a serviceable running back when you have injuries. How Kareem Hunt has 30 carries in a game and Jonathan Taylor has 16 in that same game, and the Colts were winning the game for the vast majority of it, is just the most stupid thing possible.
Yeah. Because even if every running back can wear down a defense, every one of them, especially great ones.
But at the end of the day, running the ball...
Go ahead.
Running the ball chews a lot of time off the clock.
That.
Throwing incomplete passes stops the clock.
Does.
So even if
by 11 in the fourth quarter, just kill the clock.
Even if the Chiefs stuff you for 0 yards every play, which is mathematically not going to happen when you have Jonathan Taylor as your running back, you're going to at least burn a ton of clock. 3 plays, assuming each play takes roughly 3 seconds, which I think is the average in the NFL, and then you account for the 45-second play clock, or is it 35? Why can I not remember all of a sudden?
35.
And then you account for that. That by itself, 3 plays, you've now burned a minute and a half of game. A minute and a half, that matters when you're playing the fucking Chiefs.
Yeah.
And that's on one drive of you running the ball 3 times for no gain. And you have Jonathan Taylor.
And then you want to throw in a little screen pass to Jonathan Taylor? Just try to get some yards?
Or like...
try to extend the drive?
Or shit. If it's like second if it's 2nd and 3, Jonathan Taylor gets a 7-yard run on first down, it's 2nd and 3, you decide, all right, you know what? We have Daniel Jones, he's been good, he was playing well, we have good wide receivers. We're going to throw one. We're just going to see if we can't get a chunk play, maybe catch the defense out. Fine. Yeah. But then run the ball. Please.
Kill the clock. Do not let them get 11 points in one quarter and then go into overtime where, once again, we don't give Jonathan Taylor the ball. We let the Chiefs kick a field goal. I'm confused. I was pissed. Don't know what we're doing. I'm not sure where these people learn game management. But this was not it. This was not it.
It was just such a malpractice on coaching football. Yeah. And that's what's annoying.
And this team has been good. I think I've argued they've been underestimated and underrated. And then you went out and did this.
Yeah, it was just sad. Honestly, sad.
So, and I thought it was theirs. Thought it was theirs. They had, and it was theirs for the taking. You had to put a little thought into game management, and they couldn't do it.
Yeah, not getting the job done there was just pathetic. But
so, it's a weird week. So technically, Chiefs' hopes are still alive,
which is depressing. But
yep,
it is what it is.
Don't love it. Alrighty. Well, if that does it for our Week 12 analysis and how Brennan and I would fix the NFL, which obviously needs help with TV ratings.
Obviously. Definitely needs the opinion of two people that, frankly, they could just not give a shit. Like, honestly.
They don't care. They don't know us. We will look ahead to Week 13. The Ravens play the Bengals on Thursday Night Football. That is Thanksgiving. In Baltimore, 5:20 Pacific time, 8:20 Eastern time.
So they're the late game.
They are the late window for Thanksgiving, which has a great lineup. Honestly, I'm pretty excited for it.
Yeah.
And they're wearing their Purple Rising uniforms. Nice. I know some fans have been looking to see that this year. I took note of something interesting, and I've never really noticed it before. They wear the helmet, their game day helmet, for practice.
Yep.
I don't know if why. That's an every team thing.
I think it is because, really quickly, Seattle's going to wear this jersey this week. So they're wearing the throwback helmets in practice. I don't know why they do this.
I wonder if it's to get your team and your quarterback used to seeing that helmet.
I think it is. I think it's, one, to make sure the helmets fit right before the game, to make sure the comm systems are working before the game, and to make sure just, there's no logistical issues.
What team we're supposed to be throwing at. I'd never really taken note of it before, but I haven't either.
But I like you said it, and I realized the Seahawks did the same thing today.
Yeah.
For their practice, so I was like, maybe this is like a league-wide thing, or maybe it's just when you're rocking their alternate jerseys. I don't know.
Their alternate. But yeah, I noticed today that they were wearing their Rising helmet. I am still not a big. I love the purple, and I love the
purple is so nice. The logo's terrible. I
don't love the logo. I would like either pick a different logo or use the main one. Don't care which. Let's not use
mainly because my issue with it is the Ravens have one of my favorite logos in the league. Just their stock logo.
Yeah.
So you can make a small change to it.
You know what I kind of like? What I think would be kind of cool? That hat that I have with the full black raven and the red eye.
Yep.
I think that would kind of look cool on that matte purple helmet. And then it's a little different.
But my point being,
stands out.
Why are we changing one of the best logos in the league? At least for the Seahawks changing the logo, it's to an original logo. So unless you were going to do that, then maybe. But
it's similar. It's very similar to their original. Because their original was just the Raven head.
Okay. But
I don't love it. I don't disagree. I think there were better versions. But it's a game I'm excited for. It's a game I am concerned about. Historically, Lamar does very well against the Bengals. He is 10-2 all time. He is 6-1 against Joe Burrow. He has owned the Bengals the entirety of his career. He has the most rushing yards as a quarterback against one team ever, and that is him versus the Bengals. Offensively, they have to be able to keep up.
Yep.
With Joe Burrow back and Jamar Chase back.
We'll see. It just depends on how ready Joe
I
Burrow is.
think there's potential. This could, at worst case scenario.
You're looking at
Now, T. Higgins is out with the concussion. We all
Yep.
watched that happen last week. That was tragic, and I'm
It's
very sorry for that.
super
And
unfortunate.
as much as I don't like the Bengals or the Steelers or the Browns, I do not want players getting hurt. That was horrible to watch. He was knocked out cold.
Yep. And
Um,
then him on the cart looked even worse when he
yeah,
like regained.
did not look good.
Just scary.
Trey Hendrickson is out. The defense isn't good anyway. Didn't matter.
But that makes them
But this
significantly worse.
at its worst has the potential to be a shootout. And 23 points versus the Jets is not going to cut it
No.
against what Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase can do.
And we saw that last year.
Yep. In both games that the Ravens and Bengals played last year, it came down to the wire. It came down to 2-point conversions. This is going to be a massive test for my defense. Joe Flacco has made this O-line look competent. We will see what that looks like behind with Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase is someone my secondary has struggled with.
Is one of the best receivers in football. No surprise.
Yeah. This is an important game if they want to stay atop the AFC North.
Yeah.
It does begin tonight. We saw the climb back into the race, into the fight. To hold it starts Thursday. This is one of their toughest matchups between now and the rest of the year. Their division matchups and their game against the Patriots are going to be their hardest ones. They cannot drop these games now. It is Burrow's return. We've seen what he looks like coming off of injuries when he doesn't have warm-up. I am not going to underestimate that. I hope they don't as well. Go out there, have a great offensive performance and a great defensive performance,
and go win the
and
football
it will be
game.
a good game. And now, we talked about this a little bit in the offseason, that the Bengals would like this game in Cincinnati once in a while, because this is always a primetime game. Every year, for the last 3 years, Ravens-Bengals is a primetime game. It's a division game. It's exciting. It's usually high scoring. There's a lot of criteria that goes into that. It's always in Baltimore. The reason for that is Baltimore always wins this game. If Cincinnati would like it in Cincinnati, they're going to have to win it. Now, I don't want that. I'm just telling you that's the reality. It's an entertainment business. The team that wins usually gets the home field advantage. It's what makes it the most exciting. It's what makes it the most interesting. It's very fun. They get to rip open a turkey leg. They get to talk to the people at the bench. It's a lot of fun. They want the home team to do that.
Yep.
So
they do not want
it will
they don't want the away team the ones winning on Thanksgiving. It's just a fact.
Yeah. So should be a good game. I'm excited. I think it's in a great spot. It's in Baltimore for a reason, though. Just remember that. And injury-wise, hopefully in a good spot. Hopefully Lamar gets back to Lamar form, and he and his ball catchers have had a conversation.
And
I did forget to mention, it was pointed out to him by a reporter, his sack stat line. And I think that came as news to him when he was informed that he had been sacked more this year than all of last year. And his response was, I'm going to have to yell at somebody about that. I do think we saw a little bit of that against the Jets. While the Bengals defense is not good, let's keep him upright. Let's keep that going. Falele, find anybody.
Just hit somebody.
Hit somebody. I don't care who. I really don't. As long as they're wearing the other team's jersey.
Yeah, that's probably suggested. Let's not hit our own team.
But go find somebody. Keep that mentality, and I will be happy. And I think Lamar will be happy. So, that is looking ahead. It's going to be a great window for Thanksgiving. It's how I'm going to spend my day, just a bunch of football.
Pretty much, yep.
And it's a great way to cap the night off.
On an already decent slate, so should be good.
Yeah.
Should be good. Well, the Seahawks are not in prime time, unfortunately. They're 105 Pacific, 405 Eastern on Sunday. They're going up against the Vikings. They are at home. We'll talk more in my preview. I know I didn't do a preview this past week. That's my bad. I also mildly underestimated the Titans. I'm going to be honest. It's part of it. This week, honestly, I might do the same against the Vikings because it does not sound like J.J. McCarthy is playing, and it sounds like it'll be Max Brosmer's first career start. And I cannot think of a worse team to play for your first career start than the Seahawks in Seattle. Just want to put that out there. There are very few. So, if I do a preview, we'll talk more about it. If not, truthfully, this should be a decently easy win for the Seahawks, regardless of who starts at quarterback, if we're being honest. So yeah, there's that.
Nice. Alrighty. Well, then we will look ahead to next week. Nope, I'm sorry. We will do our
Games of the week.
We'll pick those. I've watched both of these teams, and I talk extensively about both of these teams.
Okay.
But I cannot watch another week of really shitty football. I can't do it. I won't do it. Can't make me.
Don't
it's my
do it.
podcast. I'll do what I want. I'm gonna watch Buffalo versus Pittsburgh.
Okay.
This has the potential to be a good game. Also has the potential to be a terrible game. Both of these teams are relevant to the Ravens. They are relevant to playoff implications, relevant to my division. I still have to play Pittsburgh later this year. I'd kind of like to take a mid-season stock of what they look like. I'm not sure if Aaron Rodgers will play or if it will be Mason Rudolph. And the Bears made Mason Rudolph look like a franchise quarterback, so that was a little weird.
It's funny.
But I do want to take a look at how both these teams are doing a little more in depth. And hopefully watch good football.
Fair enough. I'm probably going to take a pretty similar approach, honestly. I was thinking about watching two teams I haven't watched, I don't think, this year. But I'm going to actually choose to watch good football. And I'm going to go with Bears-Eagles on Friday.
Hell yeah.
It's Friday at noon. That is what is considered the Thursday night football this week, as it'll be on Prime. I'm actually looking forward to this game. Similar to what Dallas was talking about, this game does have playoff implications. Both of these teams are 8-3. Both of them are leading their division in the NFC. Both of which the Seahawks could play if they stay where they are in the wild card. Just kind of where Seattle's at right now. And where I expect them to unfortunately end up with the loss they suffered to the Rams. So, kind of really want to watch both of these teams. Obviously, both of them 8-3. Both of them, I think, have had very different ways of getting there. So I think that is something that I will kind of want to watch, see. I think this is the first real test for the Bears. And I'm kind of excited to see who the Bears really are.
Yep. Exactly.
So, we'll see also what the Eagles are. Because if the Eagles lose this game, it'll definitely be interesting.
That was the other game I was looking at, and then I was like, I'm gonna go AFC.
And I appreciate
it's Thanksgiving. We get a treat too. So should be a good week of football.
Yeah. Just to say it, the other game I was thinking about watching was Saints Dolphins. Yeah. Yeah, I saved myself from that.
No,
Just
no.
sad, pathetic excuse for football. So, and just wait, that'll be a
Can't.
better game than
It'll be
the
so
Bears
good.
Eagles.
It'll be great.
It'll come down to a last-second field goal in overtime. But whatever, we'll get there when we get there.
On that note, actually, just a little interesting piece of news. The Saints have been looking for a new kicker. They had several
Yes.
try out this past week, one of which was Justin Tucker, former kicker of the Baltimore Ravens. They signed Cade York this morning,
Yes.
I believe. Not surprising.
Yep.
Think that's what's best.
I would
Just
agree.
kind of my opinion on the matter. Not going to get into the whole thing. I made my opinion on Deshaun Watson clear.
Yep.
I've made my opinion on the Justin Tucker situation clear. Not going to get into it. I think this is for the best.
I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
I don't think the Saints, with the situation they're in, need that on their plate.
Nope.
So,
nope.
We're just gonna leave it there.
So congratulations to Cade York for getting the position.
Yeah.
And while I am not convinced it will help the Saints, keep marching on.
Pretty much. Good luck. Good luck. Anything else?
Alrighty. Well, if that does it for looking ahead, do we have any random sports news?
I don't. I have watched a little bit of college basketball as it is starting, but honestly, it was like 5 minutes of a random game. So
That's fair.
if you count it as watching, I guess.
I've watched college women's basketball. Watched a little bit of that.
Nope. Thought about it, but nope.
But I'm gonna be honest with you. I've watched a lot of random sports the last little bit.
Okay.
With the rugby and the CFL and all these other things. Kind of just enjoying my typical sports before the Olympics start.
That's kind of where I'm at. Because I know
kind of,
once we get to the Olympics, there's going to be a lot more to talk about with.
You know what I did watch, actually? I did watch a game. I don't know what the acronym stands for. PHWL, it's women's hockey that started last week.
Premier Women's Hockey League, I'm going to guess.
Yeah, sure. With 2 new franchises. That was something that I watched.
I've heard it's not bad in terms of like an actual league.
It's not bad.
I haven't ever watched it.
I think as a sport, it's a lot less physical than men's hockey. It's a lot like women's lacrosse compared to men's. They're not allowed to check each other.
That's
so it
tough.
becomes about strategy a little bit more, and on ice, that's hard to see as a fan.
I'm not sure how I feel about that one.
I didn't love it. I
think that just takes out a very key part of what
very
hockey
important
is.
Part of hockey.
Like,
so yeah, I had to Google the rules. I'm kind of obsessed. I seem to not be able to watch sport if I don't know what's going on. It's something I'm learning about myself.
I couldn't either.
In some
honestly.
sports, you can kind of figure out like curling. I just watched for 2 hours and eventually I figured it out.
Well, that one's easy to figure out. There's not
women's hockey. Took a minute. I had to Google it, and yeah, they're not allowed to check each other. And overtime is power plays. They don't do power plays.
I do know that.
They go to penalty shots, and that's kind of interesting.
I thought.
But I don't like the not checking.
I thought power plays were different. I thought they did something I really like, which is if you score shorthanded, so if any team scores on the power play, it ends the power play.
Yeah.
In the NHL, it's the team on the power play with the man advantage has to score for the power play to end. If you get a shorthanded goal, it doesn't end. I like the idea of rewarding the team that scores a shorthanded goal because it's really rare with ending the power play. I think that's a fun addition.
Yeah.
But
The rule I saw was it went to penalty shots.
that's weird. I didn't know that.
Um,
Granted, I've also
but
never watched.
that's fair. So it was just I don't know how I feel about it. I think checking is a major part of hockey, and I think to not be allowed to do it is odd.
I think that's
but
worse.
I did give that a watch.
Yeah, I think that's
a watch.
Fair.
So,
Cool.
but I'm gearing up for the Olympics. I know we're still a couple months out, but that's what I'm really excited for.
I'm pretty excited for that. Next year is going to be really fun with sports.
Yeah.
I'm realizing 2026 is the year for sports.
It's the year.
Got the Winter Olympics, which is my preferred Olympics, and you got the World Cup.
Yes.
So, pretty solid.
Alrighty. Well, if that does it for random sports and news, then I think that does it for us this week.
I think so. So make sure like, subscribe, comment, let us know. Pretty much anything. If you're watching basketball, watching hockey, watching football, let us know how your teams are doing. Again, as we mentioned earlier, we will talk more about basketball and hockey with our new schedule of the first of the month the first week of the month for basketball, second week of the month for hockey. So you're a fan of those two sports, you kind of know what the current plan is. And this way we can genuinely spend time and actually talk about the sports and not just give you random news, whatever we find. So that's the plan. Thank y'all for joining. This has been Floxnet Sports Podcast. I've been Brendan.
And I've been Dallas.
Thank you.